In this video, we'll be delving into some mind-blowing concepts that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the universe. So sit back and prepare to have your worldview turned upside down. But before we start, I would like you to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on any of our videos. And if you want to dive into a theory, check the video progress bar for timestamps. Quantum entanglement. For a long time, scientists believed that the universe was deterministic. They thought that if they knew everything about a system, they could predict everything that would happen in the future. But then they discovered something called quantum entanglement, and everything changed. Quantum entanglement is when two particles become connected in a way that seems impossible. Even if they're separated by billions of kilometers, they're still connected. It's like having two boxes with stones inside. No matter where you are, if you open one box and see a white stone, you know the other box has a black stone. But here's where things get really weird. When you measure one particle, the other particle's state is suddenly determined. This happens even if the particles are light years apart. It's as if the particles are communicating with each other at a speed faster than light, which is supposed to be impossible. And if that wasn't strange enough, some scientists now believe that the particles don't actually have definitive properties until they're measured. This would mean that the universe isn't quite what we thought it was. It might not be entirely local and real. It's like stepping on a scale to measure your weight, but not actually having a weight until you step on the scale. All of this might seem like science fiction, but it's real. Quantum entanglement has been observed in experiments, and it's changing the way we think about the universe. Most importantly, it is challenging our very understanding of reality. But what is real? This is a question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for centuries. In the world of physics, real means that objects always have specific properties, whether or not we are measuring them. A falling tree in a forest makes a sound, even if there's nobody there to hear it. We know that tiny particles exist, yet we cannot see them. We cannot touch the air, yet it surrounds us. But when it comes to the quantum world, things get a little more complicated. The quantum world often has an indeterminate nature, where things are random and cannot be predicted. For example, in an experiment with radioactive atoms, we can predict how many will decay, but we cannot know for sure which ones will survive. In another experiment, firing particles through a double slit, we can predict the interference pattern that will appear on the screen, but we can't determine where every individual particle will land. But are these aspects of quantum physics really random? Albert Einstein didn't think so. He believed that there were hidden variables connecting entangled particles that would eventually be found. However, John Clauser, Alan Aspect, and Anton Zeilinger proved him wrong and received a Nobel Prize for it. They found that entangled particles do not have any properties until they are measured, and so those properties cannot be known or guessed by any means. So what does this all mean for our understanding of reality? It suggests that our universe is not as real as we think it is. It also raises the question of what we are actually experiencing when we see and interact with the world around us. The mystery of reality may never be fully solved, but the quest for understanding it is one that continues to captivate us all. The simulation theory. Imagine this. You're playing a video game, and suddenly the camera angle changes to show the perspective of your character. It's a common technique used in video games and movies to immerse the viewer in the experience. But what if our reality is just like that? What if we're all just characters in a massive, elaborate video game or simulation? It may sound like science fiction, but some scientists believe it's a possibility. In fact, they think that the odds we're living in a simulated reality are 50-50. But how would we go about proving it? Well, for starters, we'd have to assume that the computer running our simulation doesn't have infinite computing power. If it did, we wouldn't be able to distinguish our reality from a virtual one. So, scientists are looking for ways to make a simulation reveal itself with experiments that would overload a theoretical computer with finite computing resources. Whilst doing this, they are looking for glitches in the system. But there's also another clue that we might be living in a simulation: the speed of light. All computing hardware leaves an artifact of its existence inside the simulated reality it's running. There should be a limit to the processing speed of operation per certain amount of time, and it happens that we have such an artifact in our universe, the speed of light. It has an upper limit and cannot be explained by physics. Think about it. If the computer running our simulated reality performed 1 operation per second, its memory container size for the variable space would be roughly 300,000 kilometers. Maybe that's why we have the speed of light limit, to prevent us from traveling to another galaxy before the computer has a chance to program it. And if all that isn't enough to convince you, consider this. Movies and video games often go into the point of view of characters to demonstrate things from their perspective. Maybe our reality is just like that. A point of view from a character in a simulation, and as you move through the virtual world, you see and hear everything from the perspective of your character. But have you ever stopped to think about why that is? After all, the character you're controlling doesn't actually see or hear anything. It's just a collection of code and pixels. So why give it a perspective? Well, if we are living in a simulation, then the purpose of our consciousness becomes clear. It's an integrated interface that allows us to experience this simulated reality. But why would a simulation need conscious beings in the first place? It's not like there's an evolutionary advantage or clear utility to consciousness. The answer, as it seems, is that consciousness must serve someone else, an observer or player. In this scenario, our experiences and actions would be predetermined by the program running the simulation, much like the actions of characters in a video game. If we consider this possibility, it leads us to question the nature of free will. If our actions are predetermined by a higher power, do we really have the ability to make choices for ourselves? Or are we merely following a predetermined script? And if we do have free will, is it an illusion created by the program to make the simulation feel more realistic? Another possibility is that consciousness serves a higher purpose beyond simply being observed or controlled. Some philosophers and spiritual traditions suggest that consciousness is connected to a universal or cosmic consciousness, and that our individual experiences are just one aspect of a larger whole. In this view, consciousness is not just for the benefit of an observer or player, but serves a greater purpose in the universe. If we could one day simulate conscious beings ourselves, then the chances that we're living in a simulation would skyrocket. Just consider the work being done by physicists at the University of Maryland. They've already managed to simulate a single nucleus of helium, a tiny particle composed of 2 protons and 2 neutrons. But that's just the beginning. They think that in the next 20 to 30 years, they could simulate an entire atomic nucleus. And if this progress continues, there's a chance that in just 100 years, scientists could simulate something as complex as the human brain. That's right, we could potentially create a conscious being within a simulation. And if that's possible, then the chances that we ourselves are living in a simulation become even greater. But if we are living in a simulation, what does that mean for our free will and the choices we make? Perhaps we're not programmed to do anything in particular. Maybe the creator of the simulation just wants to see what we'll do on our own. And who knows? The long years we experience in our reality might only be minutes to the one running the simulation. So, what do you think? Do you believe that our reality could be a simulation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-bending content. Thank you for watching.